What's going on, people? This is the MMA Complex. My name is Josh,
And I'm James.
and it is August 29th, 2017, and is the aftermath of Conor and Mayweather. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, those 2 months kind of flew by. I think for the biggest fight of the century, people called it, and then yeah, boy, did it deliver, man. It was a fight, and then I was so intrigued with fight week and the coverage that this fight got, and I was swelling bullets the week of, and then I was kind of depressed after. But at the end, I'm happy. I think it worked out for both parties, and it's weird feeling proud of a fighter. And I think Conor, yeah, I think Conor represented mixed martial arts very good, very well.
I think so too. I mean, I was sad that he didn't get the overall victory, and yeah, the fight was stopped. Whatever controversy that. What your thoughts on that and the controversy of the stoppage? But I didn't feel. I felt kind of happy in a way. Like I felt proud. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
weird feeling proud for a fighter. Yeah,
I thought
I never felt that before.
yeah, I thought I was gonna feel like heartbroken and just bummed and disappointed. I mean, I watched the fight over at a wedding with a bunch of other people gathered around. So I had a wedding to go to. Booked on the same night. I don't know why, but but no, it was a great fight, man. It was fun. Probably one of the best Mayweather fights that he's ever had. And Conor did MMA proud for sure that night.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you said, it was a very exciting Mayweather fight. Mayweather said that he promised the fans that he was going to finish the fight before 12 rounds, and B, he was going to come forward, and he did. He kudos to Mayweather, man. He wanted to test out Conor's power. He took it. I think he said that guy that Canelo hit harder than Conor did, but
Yeah.
Conor hit him with clean shots. I don't think. I think he hit him with an uppercut in the first or second round.
Yeah.
But the rest were just rabbit punches. He was doing a lot of hammer fists. It was just a tendency that he has from MMA.
Yeah.
But I think if Conor would have landed a clean, solid punch, I think it would have been different. But I was impressed by Mayweather taking his punches the way he did.
I was too. I mean, I was nervous when the fight started. But
Boy,
just,
was I nervous too.
yeah, just watching Conor. I was wondering how he was going to come out. If he was going to come out in a traditional boxing stance, or if he was going to come out in his MMA stance, and he came out basically like a hybrid of both, but more so in his MMA stance. He's normally put his hands out there, he's pawing.
Yeah.
He came out, and I think that's what led to his overall success in the beginning. Because if he came out in a more traditional boxing stance and came out as a boxer, I think the fight would have been a lot shorter of a fight. And
Yeah.
I think the fact that he was long, he's a bigger fighter, the longer fighter, very unorthodox, switching stances.
Yeah, the way he switched stance in the middle of the fight was impressive.
I was like, okay, he's coming at him like it's a real MMA fight. Like he's coming at him as best as he can and apply his MMA.
That size difference was like, oh my god, he looked like a grown man fighting a kid.
Yeah, and he kept Mayweather at bay. Mayweather, was obviously stifled and got hit with shots. And I'm sure it was Mayweather's game plan to if it went to the later rounds, that he was betting on the fact that it was going to be in his favor. And I'm sure he had an idea. If we get into the later rounds, I want to press the action, and try to tire this guy out. And I mean, if that was his game plan, which I'm sure it was, it worked. But Conor did great, man. He won those first early rounds, regardless of what the actual judges that were there said.
Those cards were absurd.
Right, the discrepancy between the cards.
They didn't give Conor that one round.
No, you had the public's card.
I think it was 5-4, right?
Yeah, the way they were judging the fights, the public gave Conor at least the
four
first
rounds, and then because going into the 10th, it was Mayweather 5, Conor 4.
Yeah.
That's how they had it. Yeah,
and then Showtime had it
the same way.
Same way, but the boxing judges that were there officiating it had it maybe one round to him. and that was it.
One judge had Conor winning the first round. The other two judges had Mayweather winning all 9 rounds at that point,
Yeah, yeah,
which is makes
complete.
you, makes you think that well Mayweather does bring all that revenue to Vegas. He
Yeah,
is a Vegas guy. I
but
think
basically what
it
that
was
tells you,
fixed.
they were gonna
Yeah,
screw him over in
they
the
weren't
end.
gonna let an MMA guy win in a
No,
boxing ring,
no,
especially to their guy. There's no
yeah,
way.
there's no way.
It's so it was either Conor had to win by knockout or get screwed by the judges,
Yeah,
which is very unfortunate. But the thing I forgot to point out was I mean I dislike Mayweather, but after this fight I became a fan of his just because the way he came out, his fighting style, and the fact
yeah.
that he never talked down on Conor. He gave Conor the respect, and yeah, it was. I mean, I became a fan for at least that one night.
Yeah, and especially and even during the whole lead up, all the promotion, like they talked a lot of trash, but
He respects him as far
yeah,
as his as a fighter.
yeah, he respected him as a fighter, and I think he respected what he was bringing to the event and making it an event and making it, because Mayweather never really had anybody that put that much effort into
Yeah,
promotion.
he definitely appreciated Conor
I think so.
for helping him out as far as the promotion side of it and getting the fans excited.
Yeah,
So yeah, he really appreciated Conor, but it was cool to see those guys and kind of embrace and give props to each other.
yeah,
But for Mayweather, he had every opportunity to talk shit and laugh in Conor's face, but he never did it, which is very classy on Mayweather's part.
very classy. So the fight went 10 rounds. Obviously, I think from the ninth, or at least from the eighth, to the end of the eighth to the 10th round, it was pretty much Mayweather. I know Conor. A lot of people gave Conor the eighth. If not, I think he got it on in terms of points, or I don't know how. I didn't remember the scorecards, but he got the eighth in a lot of people's opinion. And from there is when the tide started to turn in terms of Mayweather's favor. Conor gassed in the ninth for sure, and then the 10 was inevitably the ref jumped in. Conor wasn't really throwing any punches, even though he didn't go down at any point in the fight. The ref stopped because Conor was basically just trying to bob and weave and get out of punchers, Mayweather's punches, but and wasn't really throwing anything back. So
Yeah, but kudos to the ref. I mean, he let those hammer fists go by.
yeah,
He let those fighters
yeah,
fight each other out. And then that kind of bothered me in the beginning was that the fact that the referee was, as he was telling them both the fighters the rules, he kept looking at it. He was like Tony talking to Conor.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
kind of strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of strange. Yeah,
Like like you MMA guy, like we need to follow like these
the
rules are under
rules.
boxing, like boxing rules. Not in there.
Yeah.
No, I mean without he didn't say Conor, but he was pretty much just talking to Conor.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But overall, I think the fight was very exciting. I think it lived up to.
to the hype
I
and
think it
more.
surpassed a lot of people's
Yeah,
expectations.
for sure.
Because talking to people that aren't fight fans necessarily, they were like downplaying this fight even being a fight. Like they expected it to be over and done quick.
Yeah, and those people that said they kind of not gonna land in lunch.
Yeah, all the people that I mean, yeah, all the people that said that he wouldn't land a punch, that he wouldn't win a round, that he wouldn't go past this round, he wouldn't go past that round. It's gonna
ate
be a
their
one-sided
words.
beatdown. It's yeah. I knew I had a feeling that Kurt, I think we both kind of assumed that if Conor didn't finish him in the early rounds, but we gave him the chance of finishing him in the early rounds. Most people didn't. And then if it went into the later rounds, I figured, and I'm sure you'd probably thought the same way, that either Mayweather was probably going to take it if it went to a decision, or if it did stop. I figured that
Yeah, the TKO, not a knockout.
I thought it was going to be a TKO, which it was, and I thought that it was maybe conditioning was going to be a factor, and not so much Mayweather's punches taking him down necessarily. It was going to be the just the accumulation of the rounds and the pacing and the game plan of Mayweather and the game plan of Conor and who was going to win out and all that. I knew fatigue was going to be the big issue, the big downfall for Conor.
Kudos to Skip Bayless. He's the one guy from ESPN that was going for Conor.
Yeah, I'm and all those all the guys. You know what? I listened. I watched a bunch of videos and a bunch of listened to radio, and people were giving Conor props, and not obviously there was still a lot of people that were holding out and not giving him the credit he deserved even after the fight. But there was a lot of people that I think were kind of eating their words,
Yeah, for
especially in the
sure.
boxing
Max
community.
Kellerman too. Max Kellerman was the guy that said that Conor wouldn't have one punch. So
Yeah.
he admitted on there that he was wrong. But I mean, I think we spoke about this off air. I mean, off the record. That boxing looks bad. I mean, here's a guy that
Mm-hmm.
never had one boxing professional fight in his career, and he went 10 rounds. Was arguably the best boxer of this generation, and it just shows you that in an MMA fight, Mayweather winning last a round against Conor. So
Yeah.
for Conor, lasting 10 rounds says a lot.
I think that was almost never in question. I think a lot of people know that, you know, if Mayweather or any other top ranked boxer went into the octagon, that it would be over and done quick. And they all think that it would be over and done quick by, the other fighter taking the MMA fighter taking him down and submitting him or beating him down in some way, which, yeah, that's probably going to be the most obvious way. But um, I think a top ranked boxer can easily lose on the feet in an MMA fight.
Yeah,
And
leg
that's,
kicks.
yeah, leg kicks, elbows, you name it. And the fact that the way that they box, it doesn't apply to an actual real fight in a lot of ways. It's boxing is it's the way it's set up and the way the rules and how it's limited to just the hands.
Mm-hmm.
You can get away with certain things defense wise, offense wise, stances, feet, punches, the way the punch you throw the punches, or even the way you block punches.
Yeah.
You can't do that in an actual fight or even in an MMA fight, even in a kickboxing fight. It just doesn't apply.
Mm-hmm.
So, boxers have this mentality, and I think there was a really good post-fight or even pre-fight interview with like Kevin Lee during the scrums that they were doing, and Kevin Lee was all like, boxers having this idea in their head that they're in a real fight. He's like, they're not in a real fight. He's
It's
like,
a punching contest.
yeah, he's like, it's set up to where it's like a high stakes game of like tag. You know what I mean? Like,
And it's true. Like when people, talk about boxing and say fight, I always tell them, no, it's not a fight. You mean the punching contest that's happening on Saturday? Because
yeah.
that's what it is. It's a punching contest.
And it's skill. I mean, it's skill. It's still combat sport. It's high level skill. Involved. There's guys like Lomachenko who are just insane.
But it is what it
Triple
is.
G.
It's a punching contest.
But it's limited, and it doesn't apply to outside boxing. I mean, to maybe a person who's untrained, it might just you be destroying that person. But to other trained fighter, it's just it won't apply.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of people are eating their words after the fight. A lot of people still not giving him the credit he deserves.
That's frustrating.
And the casual fight fans, especially casual boxing fight fans, are just the most annoying.
Oh, those are the worst.
Those are the worst, man. They have no idea what they're talking about. And like even when it comes to fighting, how stuff, they just don't not know. And it was annoying. That was probably one of the most annoying things to deal with for the past 2 months. Were the people that would just talk out of their ass like they know what they're talking about.
Like my manager, when I saw her today for the first time, she's totally boxing can beat an MMA guy. So shut up.
And the people that are like, like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna watch that fight. Yeah. Like, or what are you? You're like a boxing purist?
Even those boxing purists are watching that fight. Everyone was
the
watching.
Boxing purists are watching that fight.
It's the cool thing to say.
Yeah, even like yeah, and then it's like the cool thing to like, oh yeah, dismiss it. Like, so obviously you don't know jack about fighting, MMA, boxing, yeah, but like, what the real fight is, the Triple G and Canelo fight. That's the
get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
My manager was saying, I told you a boxer can beat an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
We beat like your guys' best. I said, I hear that for the last couple of days. See, I told you boxing is better than MMA.
No, but I mean, they don't do that. They understand that it's in the boxing setting,
Yeah, but she was saying like, oh well, real men only use their fists, so that's not even fighting. It's like saying homophobic terms, and yeah, it was. I
It's
do have to deal with that.
yeah, yeah.
That's not real
Which
fighting. Real
no one
men.
ever necessarily came at me like that, but I think
Oh, I hear it all the time. Like
yeah,
real men only fight with their hands. Little girls use their kicks and the wrestling.
yeah, yeah,
I gotta deal with it. I have to deal with that.
yeah.
And what can I say? There's nothing I can say to defend to counter that
Well, I mean,
because they still think that it's girl
you
tactics.
yeah, yeah, yeah. If they have their mentality that the tactics that are used outside of a boxing setting are not like
Manly,
manly and not they're not
which is so dumb.
yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, there's people like that. I'm sure there's a lot of the same people that are like dismissing it. Mostly I came across people that dismissed it as, you know, the fight was not going to be there's no contest like
Competitive fight,
yeah,
yeah.
competitive fight, like the MMA fighter is not going to have the same skill as
The boxer.
premier boxer. And a lot of that there's obviously some truth to that, I guess, but because you have a specialist in one craft and someone who's kind of a jack of all trades type of person. So
Well, Conor had to adjust in there. He had to adjust to not to into the boxing game.
yeah,
But like I told my manager, I said, look, I'd rather be punched in the face than kicked any day of the week.
yeah,
Because kicks, like your legs are your strongest part of your body. Like you carry all that weight around all day. So to me, a real man would kick. I would take a kick than a punch.
yeah,
But
yep.
it's like it's like arguing about Jesus. Like, it's no way around it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a great fight. I thought there were really no losers in the fight. I thought, if anything, I think boxing looked
Bad.
bad. But then the fact that they did look bad, they make excuses. Like all the boxing people make excuses. Like, oh,
He was letting him win.
Mayweather let him win. He wanted to drag him out into the 10th, 11th round. Which, I mean, obviously he has a game plan in hopes that if he doesn't finish him, that tire him out. That's why
De La Hoya said that Conor bet it on himself to win in the 10th round, so he was pretty much letting him punch him in the face to get to that 10th round.
De La Hoya's he's hyping his own
Yeah.
fight that's coming up. Triple G.
What it is these guys are just hurt because an MMA guy went in their sport and had a good outing.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
exactly. And people are like, oh well, Mayweather's 40 and he hasn't fought in 2 years.
We need like these excuses are going to come out.
They make so many excuses.
We need. I mean, Dana called it. He said that all these excuses are going to come out post fight. So
yeah. I mean, it was a big fight, huge fight. Everybody was watching it. There was about 3 million illegal streams going on. So
yeah.
a lot of people watched the fight.
I watched it on Instagram. So thanks. Kudos to those guys who recorded it.
And there was a lot of there's such a demand for it that a lot of the like I think Fight Pass crashed, and I don't know who else. Maybe Showtime.
There's a lawsuit coming up. There's a lawsuit against Showtime.
Yeah, so a lot of the streaming services crashed, and yeah, there's a lot of people that were upset. A lot of people, a lot of people are trying to get their money back.
They're suckers for trying to order it. We can just watch it like me.
And honestly, like a lot of the people that were like, it always happened after a Mayweather fight. They always complained. They always like, oh, the fight was boring. I wish I hadn't spent my $100. Like I told them like if this is gonna be an entertaining fight. This is if you're saying like you're like it's not what Floyd fight has been entertaining before this. This is the one that's really going to be worth your money.
Because Conor's gonna make him fight.
Yeah, and I would tell people like that were kind of like not really wanting. I'm like, watch the fight, trust me. And the people that were like you really think he's gonna win? You really think he's gonna win? I'm like, he might. Odds are not in his favor, but I think he's going to put a good fight, and I think it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, because in the past, Mayweather's opponents played Mayweather's game where Conor was going to engage. Yeah. Whether he loses the fight or not, he's going to engage and make a fight out of the fight. So and that's exactly what happened. And he pretty much forced Mayweather to come forward and swing. Mm-hmm. And that's what made it exciting.
People were saying, like, I don't think he's going to land. He's not even going to touch him. I'm like, you know what I mean? Look at them now. They can't say shit. Yeah. So it was a great night for MMA. it was a great night for boxing. It was a great night for combat sports in general. And people are have a debate now. And a lot of people have a lot of respect for Conor. A lot of people still hold that respect for
Yeah,
admiration for Mayweather, and both sports I think left
yeah, and hopefully
intact.
those eyeballs in boxing will generate to translation mixed martial arts,
Which
and
I
they have
think
any fans.
some might, and the hardcore is probably still not going to, but I think some might, and I think the next Conor fight is going to be a big draw, no matter who he fights.
I think that Nate Diaz fight is going to happen.
Yeah, and what do you think about Nate Diaz going and meeting up with Floyd after the fight? He thought it was kind of a little bit of a betrayal, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mixed martial arts should be like a camaraderie where everyone in MMA should kind of stick together, and you saw that happen.
For the most part, they
Yeah,
did.
Ferguson, guys like Ferguson, guys like pretty much Connor's enemies were showing him respect.
Yeah.
But Nate Diaz is Nate Diaz, and he's the kind of guy he's always been on his own. But I was kind of it rubbed me the wrong way. I think he hurt Connor's feelings. Connor got hurt by that too. I think Connor was expecting Nate to at least give him some respect,
At least give him some respect, and at least
and he didn't.
stick up for the sport that you compete
And,
in.
and you know how much I love Nate.
Yeah.
Fuck Nate. I'm going for Connor in that trilogy.
Yeah, me too. And I think yeah, just seeing him with Floyd, I'm like, you can't respect that
No,
move by Nate. It's
No.
like what?
come on.
Yeah.
And then the other boxing guys see that, so it makes us look stupid too.
You look like a you look like a chump. You look like a sellout, like someone who's like sucking up to someone who's superior to you in some way. Like
Or I can't wait to
like
Connor.
Mayweather one is the one that makes money, and he's the one that beat Conor. And he's
It
like a
shows
superior athlete.
that Nate Diaz is jealous of Conor McGregor and
Yeah.
the kind of lifestyle that he lives and everything that he's accomplished. I think Nate Diaz is jealous, and he's doing this to try to get under his skin. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to a beatdown from Conor because coming out of this fight, Conor's he's gonna be a superior striker to all these MMA guys,
Yeah.
being in there with the best. So I'm looking forward to Conor just knocking Nate Diaz out.
I think he already had an edge on
Yeah.
pretty much most of the guys in there, if not all the guys in the
Now even
in
more.
his divisions. Now even more. He's beating most
Especially
of them
that jab
already.
looked really good. Looked awesome.
Yeah, I think I mean, in a lot of ways, he's not gonna. I'm kind of glad he stuck with the MMA style in the fight because the transition back to
Will be
MMA
hard.
won't be as difficult.
Yeah,
He just has to, retrain some of the old stuff again.
but I'm predicting a knockout this time from Conor against Nate.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. As long as Conor can pace himself correctly, I think he wins that fight.
Easy.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Nate
he did
Diaz-
the last time. He paced himself. The first time he blew his wad. Second time he paced himself, won the fight. I think as long as he does that in the third one, I think there's no way Nate's going to be able to touch him. He's going to send him on his back again.
Yeah.
With the punches and punches. So.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if Conor comes back, he's got a couple of choices. He can take on another boxing fight against Paulie Malignaggi, which he already has. He can make a ton of money with that. I think Paulie is a little bit more beatable than Floyd, and I think that's probably going to be the more attractive fight for him. There's a third fight when Nate, which is in MMA, is probably the biggest one he can make, or he's going to have to fight another row of killers and rematches.
But you got Kevin Lee and Ferguson fighting each other. So and then Khabib is completely out of the picture because he can't even make weight. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much Nate, and that's it for MMA because Ferguson and Kevin Lee are fighting each other.
And there's also Max Holloway who's trying to call him out.
Yeah, I don't see Conor going back to 45 though.
Yeah. No, I think 55 is probably the lowest he's going to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people had to say, had a lot to say after the fight. You know, and a lot of people had a lot of from MMA, boxing. I mean, I watched a lot of people that were talking a lot of crap, and both sides, and see what they had to say. And they ate their words. They respected them. I mean, Tyron Woodley. Did you see the broadcast, the post-fight broadcast with Tyron Woodley and Dominic Cruz?
Mm-hmm. I saw pieces of it. Yeah.
Then they had what's his name, Jacobs.
Sid Jacobs.
No, the boxer that was in between both of them.
Oh yeah. The black guy, right? The
Justin
black dude.
Jacob or something like that. I
Yeah,
forgot his
yeah.
name. Um, they were. He was trying to still that he was like putting up a fight. I apologize for not remembering his name, but honestly, I don't really apologize that much because he was still, you know, dis, kind of like
Just missing.
dismissing Conor's efforts, the way he fought, talking about boxing and it was and Floyd and being the greatest of all time and just being superior as a fighter and then you have and it just downplaying the whole fight in general in Conor's favor, just kind of downplaying what he did. And Tyron Woodley and Dominic Cruz really stuck to it and been like, and we're at first, on kind of agreeing with him, being like, yeah, like okay, yeah, kind of respecting his opinion because he's a professional boxer and he's giving his input. But after a while, they got tired of it and they were just like, no, bro, we can, like Dominic was like, no, we can box too. You know what I mean? Like this totally shows you that we can box. So I mean, and then Tyron Woodley was saying the exact same thing, just like, hey, no, what you're saying is, no, I disagree with you, man. Conor did this, and he surpassed everybody's expectation and did amazing. And even a defeat, blah, blah, like they really stuck it. And Tyron Woodley gave him a lot of praise. Someone who's had a lot of beef with Conor over the past year or so really gave Conor a lot of credit and was, I think, happy and proud, that he did our sport, mixed martial arts at least justice. You know what I mean?
Well, DC went out his way to even tweet that how proud he is and of Conor and how much the UFC is proud of him. He represented. He said that you represented us well, which is.
I think he did. I think a lot of people.
Very kind of DC to do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have a lot of casual fans have a lot more respect for mixed martial artists than I think they did previously, and they have a new understanding of the capabilities of fighters and what can happen in a fight.
Yeah,
and I think they opened their eyes a little bit. Like, hey, Mayweather was a little bit of trouble, a little bit, and he was put to the test. When people who don't watch fights believe in his invincibility. I think Kevin Lee and Tony were making their rounds during their UFC was promoting one of the next events with them, and I'm excited for that fight. I think upcoming fights, I'm excited for that fight, and both of those guys I think are at the point where they can be pretty big stars in the sport.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, this is pretty much a number one contender fight, and the winner is going to face Conor. Yeah. It's for the interim lightweight championship. And I think we spoke about this fight briefly last week in the last episode, and we both agreed that Tony Ferguson is going to win. But I don't know, like we were talking about this before too. That Kevin Lee's really growing on me as a fighter, and I'm starting to really dislike Tony Ferguson. He's just weird, and his whole sunglasses he wears those damn sunglasses everywhere he goes, and he says like it's weird. It's like they switch roles. I felt before I thought that Kevin Lee was trying too hard. I just think Tony Ferguson is trying way too hard right now.
Yeah,
to try to go over with the fans. It's annoying.
And with Kevin Lee, I thought he was trying way too hard at first, but then it's like almost think like, no, it's just him. Yeah, I think it's just him. It's almost coming off a lot more natural now.
You can't hate the guy for trying to like
and I think
stop fights.
And I think at this point in MMA and especially in the UFC, they need stars and they need people to really shine.
Yeah, I mean, like you look back at when Conor started his UFC career, he was Kevin Lee's age, 24 years old.
Kevin Lee's young.
Yeah, he's going to be 25, I think, this year.
This next month,
and if he beats Ferguson and he fights Conor, I think he's gonna make a lot of money, and I think that's a more exciting fight than with him with Tony, only because Kevin Lee's gonna sell the hell out of that fight against Conor McGregor.
And he's a talented guy.
He's good looking. He's African American.
Good looking. Really good athlete. Strong athlete, and just a young, talented guy.
Yeah.
Flashy. And I think he gets it. He at a young age, I think he gets what needs that other side of fighting, that promotion side of fighting. He gets it at an early age,
Yeah.
and he does it really well, and it's almost coming off as very natural.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's too much too soon for him. I think he still needs a couple more guys,
It is.
but he has all the ingredients for a superstar for sure.
Yeah, if he beats Ferguson, I mean, I think next is Conor. I think sky's the limit for him.
I just think Connor's gonna eat him alive.
This is, yeah, and yeah, and I mean, same could happen with him and Ferguson. Ferguson could probably. It was same. We thought about that about Yair Rodriguez and Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
We thought maybe it was a little bit too much for him, but maybe not, and it ended up
It
being a little
was
bit too much for him.
Yeah.
Same thing could happen for Kevin Lee in this
Yeah.
fight. Like,
And
Tony could be a little bit too much.
if Conor eats him alive and it's not even a fight, I think it's gonna hurt Kevin Lee rather
Yeah.
than
But
gain.
even if he makes it to a fight with Conor, I mean that's big enough. I mean you'd be like to even
that's a
get a
victory.
fight with Conor.
Yeah, it's a victory in itself.
Yeah.
But
I think if he gets
he's gonna get embarrassed by Conor. I think.
if he gets destroyed by Ferguson,
Oh,
then
yeah.
that's a big hit. That's a derailing of his.
Mhm.
He's gonna have to bounce back from that. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
tough bounce back.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, but I think if he loses against Ferguson, that intrigue with Conor is still gonna be there. So I think people are gonna want him to kind of win, see him going against
Yeah.
Conor. But I think if he goes against Conor right now, I think Conor's gonna eat him alive. I don't see that fight going past 2 rounds, and that's gonna hurt him a lot.
Yeah.
I think because only because I see Conor as champion for a very long time, and if Conor eats him alive, who wants to see a second fight with him and Conor again?
And I know Max is out there trying to clamoring for a fight, calling out Conor, is saying that he's the
Yeah, I don't see Conor going back to 45.
Yeah, I don't really see him going back to 45 either. I think 55 is going to be his home for the rest of his career, I would say.
I think if anything, he becomes a 170-pound champion. But right now, 155 is his home.
Because you look at the top guys in the 145, and there's not a whole lot. Maybe what Frankie is left that he really hasn't fought.
Yeah, there's more money fights at 155.
Yeah, there's
for
a lot more money fights. As long as Khabib could make weight, Ferguson, Kevin Lee, those are three good fights right there. Nate Diaz is probably the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better for him at 155.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the next Conor fight, especially coming off of this fight, is going to be going to be a big draw. It's going to be a lot of eyes on it, even more so.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Jones, I know, is still in the news. We're still waiting on what happens with that. They're testing the B sample. A lot of mixed opinions in terms of how they feel about his situation. What's your at this point now? It's almost been a week. What do you feel? What do you think?
I mean, you're innocent until proven guilty. I don't know. I'm kind of sick of the whole tainted supplement excuse. I think everyone that pops has that excuse already. And at this point, I mean, when you sample B samples, what they do is they get you piss and they put it in 2 different cups, and they pretty much test both cups. So it's very rare that it's going to test negative.
Negative. Yeah.
So it's 99.9% that it's going to be positive again. And I think John Jones already cried wolf before being popped, and now, I mean, you can't trust that guy anymore. I mean, he's giving every chance from not only the UFC brass but from fans, alike.
Yeah.
And he's burned his. I think he's burned his bridges already. I think he burned his bridges before this test. I mean, his last failed drug test. But people give him the benefit of the doubt again, and it was a great redemption story. He gets back the title that he never lost, and then he does this, and I think DC gets hurt the most out of this whole thing. Because Dana White was saying that he's gonna give him the title, give DC back the title, and the fight will be a no contest. But then people are going to see DC as a paper champion because here's a guy that got knocked out. It's the second time. I think DC loses the most out of everybody here. But as far as John Jones, I think he's burned his bridges too much.
Yeah.
I think no one's going to take him seriously again. I think one day we're gonna look back. And like I said, in the last episode, it's gonna be a great 30 for 30. It's gonna be. It reminds me of Darryl Strawberry when Darryl Strawberry was a great baseball player, and he pretty much ruined his career by doing a bunch of cocaine,
Yeah.
and he failed at all these drug tests, and now he's a nobody. But you look back at his baseball career, he was one of the best at it.
Yeah.
Same thing with John Jones.
Yeah, and it's like I think what was it worst case scenario I heard I think Shaw brought it up one time was that the worst case scenario for DC is if they were to strip Jones of the title, give DC back the title. Jones ends up getting just a slap on the wrist, and then DC has to fight Jones again for the title, and Jones just takes back that title. You know what I
Oh my
mean? That's just like,
god!
you know, it'll be like this
Yeah,
never-ending story for DC.
that he can't beat John Jones.
Can't beat John Jones.
I mean,
Have to go
but
through it again.
it's sad because you can't fault DC because John Jones keeps disqualifying himself from that title. But the whole thing's unfortunate. I think that I don't see like we know Andy Foster, the executive director of the California Athletic State Commission. He's not going to put up with this shit.
No,
He's not going to put up with someone who's already offended. I think he popped for cocaine, which is it's not fair to release that. But he still popped, and then he popped for two chest stories. So this is his third or fourth time popping. I mean, how many times are you gonna get excused? I think they're gonna lay down the hammer, especially someone like Andy Foster, who's a zero tolerance when it comes to this kind of thing. So
yeah.
I see him getting 4 years. He comes back at 34. He already lost his early prime. His prime.
He's 30 something now. 30.
He's 30 years old, and
30 years
he already lost his 2 years of his career.
Yeah.
So and he didn't look that great.
It's pretty much done.
Yeah, I think his career is done.
Even if he let's say he gets a slap on the wrist, or what did it say? That's at least a year to 2 years. So
I don't see that happening.
If he gets the whole tainted supplement excuse and they give him that's 2 years minimum right there. He's gone for at least a little while. That title's stripped. It's gonna be stripped unless they have like a really good excuse and they find the substance and then it was just
it's gonna be
they
hard.
let him off and for like 6 months or something like that.
Because you're supposed to like document every supplement that you're using, and like I said before, like to test a pee sample, they put it in two different piss cups and they test it again. Is it really going to come out a different result? I don't think so. And the fact that he's already popped in the past doesn't help his case either. So I see him getting a severe punishment this time around.
I completely agree. It's unfortunate, and I think it's a black eye on the sport and his legacy.
And the only person that he can blame is himself.
Yeah, definitely. It's just crazy, man. It's insane.
Yeah, no.
So it's a big weekend of fights this weekend. We'll go over a couple of them. You have Invicta, Paluhe versus Kuniskaya, Lemoore, California. That's about almost 4 hours away from where we're at in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. That's on UFC Fight Pass. It's Invicta 25. It's the 25th event for the promotion, and they got a good card, man. And a lot of Alexa Connors. You have Sharon Jacobs. You have Ashley Medina. You have Amberlyn Orr.
Jeez. It's a great card, man.
Livia Souza. It's gonna be a good card, and especially it's for the vacant bantamweight title. That one's on UFC Fight Pass. Check that one out. That's gonna be awesome right there. I'm excited for that one. We're gonna do our best to try to make it out there. But that's on UFC Fight Pass. Check that out. LFA 21, September 1st, is in Branson, Missouri. Is Noblet versus Braun Howe. Access TV, you have one championship, September 2nd. And that's on online pay-per-view. From Shanghai, you got Ben Askren fighting on that card. As one championship is fighting that's in Shanghai. And UFC has an event, UFC Fight Night 115, Volkov versus Struve. Pretty decent card. Nothing crazy off of this card. You got some good guys on here. Batazara is on there. think, but the main event's a big one. It's Alexander Volkov versus Stefan Struve. Stefan Struve has been out for a while. It's good to see him back. Who do you have for this main event?
Volkov.
Volkov?
Yeah, only because Stephen Struve's been out for a long time. He's not very consistent, and then he has that issue, that health issue, with his heart. So I'm gonna go with Volkov.
Yeah, I always felt like with Struve being so big, so tall, and skilled all around, that he could have been like a force in the heavyweight division. But it just never
Health issues kind of held him back.
Yeah, and he's still young, so things could turn around. So who knows? But I'll probably go with. I'll go with Struve. I'll say he comes back. He comes back strong. So we'll see.
Yeah.
For the Paoluhe fight against Viniskaya, who do you have?
Miniskaya only because
Kuniskaya.
Kuniskaya, yeah, Kuniskaya only because we've covered Raquel's fights in the past, and she just doesn't impress me when she fights. I mean, she's an aggressive forward,
really tough
and
girl.
she has a lot of heart, but she's not consistent at all. And her holes that she has in her game are always exposed.
Yeah, and I mean, she has been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
she's been doing a lot of tournaments. She's been beefing up her ground game. But I think Kuniskaya is probably, she beat Tanya Evinger.
Yeah.
Lost.
That's a lot.
Lost in the rematch. And, that says a lot. So I'm going to say that she's probably the favorite in this fight. But, Palu is a tough chick. She doesn't go away easily.
Yeah.
She can probably take the title. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a very fun event. Make sure you check out Invicta, LFA, UFC, all that stuff. And then we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Until then, go to Hall Rock Gear, use Complex15 promo code, get 15% off your order, and go to the MMAComplex.com.
Yeah, and while you're there, you can purchase our shirts, $19.95. Go on under our online store at themmacomplex.com, and you can follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James, JYMZ. You can follow him on Twitter, MMA Complex Josh. And of course, you can follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all under the MMA Complex. Big fight this weekend. This week with Invicta, we're gonna try to cover that and all the news of the week. So until then, enjoy the fights, enjoy your week.